am almost ready.
Okay.
Dr. Sutton, whenever you're ready, just let us know, we'll start the live feed. It's not, it's currently not on.
I'm waiting on Mr. Andrews to get.
I'm trying to get logged in here to the meeting. Go ahead, I'll catch up.
Oh, I can hear you real good.
Oh, let me fix that.
Okay, if you want to do the pledge of allegiance to the flag, we're ready.
I think you got it.
Landing back. I'd like to call the orders Shelby County Board of Education for July the 23rd, 2000. First thing on the agenda is pledge allegiance to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Second thing is approve the agenda.
So moved.
I second it.
Been moved by Mr. Klein, second by Mrs. Friels. Any questions? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll turn it over to you, Ms. Sugg, to
All right.
drive around.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. I want to let the board know that we are live on YouTube, so our community can hear our meetings and not have to worry about the social distancing or being here and being fearful of that. We want to include them, so welcome to everybody out there that is listening. I have a report for you. You should have that there at your seat, and basically I want to tell you that most of the work that I've done and the central office staff have been doing is about reopening our schools. And toward the end of my report there, I listed some things and we'll go over those. But in addition to that, we are anticipating great things from our schools here, and so we're doing the regular things we all do to get school up and running. So I'm continuing to visit with every one of our principals, spending an hour and a half to 2 hours with them in their building. I've met with SCEA officers, and we discussed how to work together this year for the good of all of our students and the community. And so I will be meeting with them. They have a monthly meeting. I'll be meeting with them once a month to just go over things and see what we can do to enhance the teaching profession here in Shelby County. Also, I attended, I think we have a photo of that, I attended the Meet the Coach for Collins girls basketball coach. Ms. Green is our new girls basketball coach, and we've got some photos there. She's excited, she got the girls excited, and one of the things I love about her presentation that day was she talked very little about basketball, but she talked a lot about character and about how she wants to develop these young ladies into women of character. She's written a couple of books, and it was highly inspiring. I was very, very pleased and excited to meet her. I've also met with leaders of industrial development and also the Chamber of Commerce to discuss partnerships that we have. And there's some photos there. I actually was welcomed at a luncheon the other day and was a featured speaker with the Chamber. So we talked a lot about work-based learning and about our profile of a graduate and how all of that works together for the good of Shelby County, for the business and industry, and the growth of our community. I also met with the Education Foundation the other day, and so I had a lot of activities in the last couple of weeks since we've been together. But of course, like I said, reopening schools is the #1 thing on everybody's mind and their agenda today. So we will be sharing with you a formal written plan continue to monitor. We also have put out an email, fall2020@shelby.kyschools.us, and that is on our website, and we invite everybody to send in questions. At present, we have about 100 questions that have come in, and we've answered those with about a 24-hour turnaround time. Each person has received a personalized answer from somebody on the staff that has that particular area of expertise to answer their question. What we did, because we know all of those questions are of mutual interest to everybody, we put those into a frequently asked questions document, and it's also on our website. So anyone that has the time to look through those, there are probably at least 75 that are posted on there. We've answered some others individually to get the word out and try to allay some of the fears that parents have. We're monitoring the trends. Again, the governor's office is very much in touch with KDE. KDE is also very much in touch with all of our superintendents, and we're continuing to monitor not only Shelby County, but just what the trends are in our state. And our task force and our district leadership continue to look at all of the guidance documents and recommendations that have come out from KDE and also public health. We are continuing still to get guidance documents. Most recently, just I believe this week, we got 2 or 3 more. So they're still coming. Also, we are setting guidelines and expectations for the safe reopening using all of those guidelines and documents. And we have, today was the first day, tomorrow is the second day of an administrative retreat to set those expectations for our district leaders. And then the plan is they will take those expectations back to the school level and interpret what they look like at each school, because we know what works for Heritage may not work for Collins High School. So they're going to tailor those plans to their needs at their particular school. We're exploring contracting with additional cleaning services. Also, we did survey every parent and staff member, and we received a really high number of responses, but not everybody responded. So our school level leaders have been, with not only principals, but with additional staff in their schools, they have been making personal contacts to those they did not hear from to ascertain, would the staff be able to come back? In other words, is there a medical condition within their home or within themselves that would keep them from coming back in a face-to-face environment? And also the same question was put to parents, and many parents answered right away. Either they weren't comfortable or they were, and we're okay with either one of those. We want parents to be comfortable. But as of right now, the school level leaders are continuing to follow up to make sure that we have made contact with all families. And then we're planning for Tuesday next week at Town Hall, kind of a virtual open forum. That's the 28th at 7 o'clock. And the folks that are here in the central office that again have the expertise and the challenge of each of the departments, they will be on that forum, and we're asking the public to send their questions into that email, fall2020@shelby.kyschools.us. And if you will put, what was it that we wanted them to put in the line? I believe it's town hall meeting. If you put that in the subject line, we will make sure we answer that question on Tuesday night. Again, if you go to the frequently asked questions on our website, you may find the answer to your question. And as of the 23rd, 80% of our staff and about 70% of our students responded to the survey that they would be comfortable with returning to work and to school in a face-to-face environment. Of course, we know that what they're feeling today may be different next week. And so we had always planned to make another contact to our families and to our staff closer to the time when school would start. So we will continue to do that as well. Also, the commissioner just sent an email, it was just probably an hour ago, to all superintendents, and he again is recommending that districts that had planned to open prior to the 14th of sometime after August 15th. That was just sent about an hour ago. So, again, everybody's monitoring the situation. We know what today is. We don't know what tomorrow will bring. We don't know what next week will bring. But I know everyone that is practicing social distancing and wearing a mask is helping us to enable us to start school, and then when we start school, to stay open, which is our goal. The situation is very fluid, and I want to assure everybody that we have a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. And we know that in-person face-to-face is the best instruction, but if that's not possible, we will do something that is not NTI, but is a virtual and/or another type of delivery of the same curriculum that our students would be getting if they were in our classrooms face-to-face. So I feel very comfortable with the staff, and I can't say enough about how amazing they are and how much they have worked to make sure that we are addressing all of the concerns that everybody has. But I cannot give anyone a guarantee tonight about what the virus is going to do. So we're going to monitor that and adjust accordingly.
Thank you.
Mr. Phillips?
Kathy, was there any public input or visitors? I skipped over that. Nobody. I looked around and, is that what you, okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we,
I was a little nervous,
I knew we could come back to it.
I can't use that, my glasses need to change anymore. If there's none, we're good, okay. Staff reports. Do we have any staff reports tonight? Okay, brings us down to board discussion. Who wants to go first?
Are you looking at me?
No, I don't.
He looked over here at me. I can go first. I want to just say that the task force going back to school is real impressive. I know how much work has gone into this. I know how much thought has gone into it. I like the way that the health department and our nurse here and all the central office and the parents and the students that are on this committee, I think they've all given it a lot of thought. Yeah, they're telling to turn mine down, I think. Oh, okay.
Actually, people on the live feed are struggling to hear you all.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I just wanted to say that, Jill, I know you've headed up that committee and you've done just an excellent job with it, so I wanted to say that. Again, I think I said this the last time, but Simpsonville Methodist Church, they're little sewers who, they have a committee. 80K is furnishing them, which is Alpha Delta Kappa, they're furnishing them with material to make masks for elementary. And so I told them, keep on making masks as long as they had materials. So if any of you out there have any material that you would like to donate that looks like children, 80K would be happy to take it. Just give me a call and I'll come and get it, or some of the meeting members will. I think that's a really good project for them and for us, because since we're not going to get to have trims and whims this year, our money, what we do for the schools is not going to be as much, because of that's where we make our money, and I don't see trims and whims happening. So some people are still calling me about hybrid. I had calls yesterday. I don't know if that's still in the thought process, but I just thought I would share that. Young Leaders is on hold for right now until we find out more about the virus and what it's going to do for the rest of the year. So it's kind of sad, because I know that the chamber had put a lot of time in on that. The Young Leaders Committee, I'm on that committee, and they had already selected students, but maybe something will happen before the end of the year. If not, they could do it as 11th graders. I think that's another solution. And I think that's just, oh, I'm glad that it's on YouTube tonight, because I
had a teacher that doesn't live in this county that said that she wishes that she could see it. So I'm glad that's on there. And that's all I have tonight,
Thank you, Ms. Frills.
except it's good to see people.
Yes.
Who wants to go next?
I don't have anything really other than, I sound like I'm echoing, encouraging, I encourage several people to make sure that they checked out our website and did the survey. And I've discussed with several of the bus drivers, the concern has been how to seat the children on the buses when we go back. But that I told them that at this point right now, it's still being discussed and it will be cleared up at a later date. And that's it.
I'll jump in, Mr. Phillips. First of all, I wanted to quickly share that for the town hall that will be occurring on the 28th,
28.
I will be calling into that only. I won't necessarily be in a position to be able to talk in case that is that allowed? Are we allowed to call in? Are we setting it up as a special meeting or?
Yeah, that was a question I had. Are we supposed to be, I don't understand how that's gonna work.
That's up to the board. If you want to be a part of that rather than just watching at home, then it will need to be a special call meeting, yes.
So I wanted to let the board know that I'll be traveling, and I'll be having to self-quarantine afterwards because I'll be going through states that are on the list. So the 28th, I do plan on calling in or watching it as I'm traveling, but not necessarily partaking in any conversation. So I wanted to let everybody know that. I had a question that I wanted to bring out, not necessarily to get an answer tonight, but in our discussions, we've been putting information out about at home and at school and NTI. As you said, option 1, option 2, option 3, kind of, right, planning. And with current trends and data and the fluidity, are we working on an alternate plan that would allow for the capability to do at home for a longer period of time for 100% if we have to, instead of for NTI for an extended period of time?
Yes, the answer to that is yes. NTI, which is non-traditional instruction, last year, every district in Kentucky was kind of caught off guard. And NTI was designed originally to be for very short-term snow days, burst water pipes, things like that, so that students can continue their work and then get back with the teacher in a few days to get feedback. And of course, it went then longer and longer and longer, so teachers weren't able to come back together and make different plans except just virtually, which is not always the best. So yes, Ms. Dugal and her student achievement team are planning for all of those scenarios. The only reason we would use NTI, which is just a short-term review type of work, would be if we come back together, we're doing face-to-face, and we have to go home for a short time. So yes, we're making plans for virtually delivering instruction for 100% of our students, if that's the case.
If we have to shift to that?
Yes.
Okay, very good. And then the rest of my comments, I've got a couple comments on the student fees, but I'll do that when we get into board actions, so.
Just want to thank everybody for all their hard work, all the committees putting forth, getting the kids back in school. I know it's a daunting task, but just want to thank everybody for all the hard work. That's it.
I don't have a lot to say other than I'm just thankful for being here. And if you want to turn this mic off, how do you do it? We don't have an off button?
I don't think you want to turn it off.
Okay. If I wanted to say something I shouldn't say, and I always hit the green button to tell Andrew, how do I do that? So, okay. Took all
Don't
the
pull me
fun.
into this.
Just wait till afterwards.
If Mrs. Jackson remember many years ago, we were live on TV, and we had a person that did it all, Reverend Gray. He was our camera person, and we had a group at the high school that done part of it. Finally, one time, they came and told me that, said, hey, when you talk into the mic, the camera back there, your voice comes out. You got to watch what you say about somebody in the back of the room because you carry it. So I was just checking out to make sure what I could or could not get away with this microphone. So, all right, we're ready to move on. We didn't have any visitors, Kathy?
No, sir.
Okay. It brings us down to certified classified report and personnel actions. Y'all have anything for there? Just stop me. School finance, June 2020. Brings us into board action items. Consider approval of student fees for 2020, 2021.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr. Klein,
I second.
second by Mrs. Friels. Any questions?
I do have a couple of
Go ahead.
comments. One, I wanted to say a thank you to Miss Donna Jones publicly, because every year that we have these come in front of us, I always look at what that cheerleading cost is, and I love the fact that Marnell C. Mormon
what I
went $100 for every sport, including cheerleading. I think that's great for young girls and boys that decide they want to learn that activity, learn that sport. I think it's interesting that we have 100, 300, and 575
Yes.
as a split. So I wanted to just say thank you, Ms. Jones, to the $100 idea. I do appreciate the changes being made and agreed upon among the schools in terms of the athletic fee, making sure that's standardized and it's a one-time cost to families. I was appreciative of that. The other one that kind of stood out on the high school side, I believe I know the reason why, but being a former band student myself, it really hurts me to think that kids, in order to be in band at Collins, have to have $600 to do it. I understand band instruments are expensive. I understand uniforms and whatever else. But Shelby County comes in at 170. Collins comes in at 600. And I just being a kid, a grown-up adult now, but back when I was a kid, and I played violin and trumpet and baritone and played sports. My family, who both parents had good jobs, wouldn't be able to afford to have me do everything that I did. I really like well-rounded students. I want to make sure that we afford opportunities for kids to be well-rounded. So thank you, Ms. Jones, for the $100 cheerleading cap. I've had kids take part in band and cheerleading and all the things that I'm bringing up. So I paid it. I know what it feels like, and I appreciate the efforts to try to minimize and cap those. I still made a motion for it, and I'll still vote on it, but I wanted to make the comments.
Thank you.
I was just going to say something about the cheerleading. I'm glad that fee especially I'm kind of like Andrew. I had a cheerleader and I had 20 outfits in one closet that when Stephanie was cheering. And last year, I think it got really out of hand. So I'm glad that they've done the expenses, like Shelby County High School is like $300. I think that's reasonable when you talk about if they have to pay for the gymnastics and all of that. And Collins is $500, which is a little steep, but I don't know what all that's going for too. But if it's paying for gymnastics, I can understand the cost of it. So I'm glad that cost has come down this year. That was all I wanted to say. Because I had several parents to call me last year on the cheerleading squad. I think it was from Shelby County High School, and they were very upset. So I'm glad that's taken care of.
Got anything, Miss Brenda?
I had a question about at Collins, the athletic fees would be paid to their coach, and I wasn't sure.
I took that to mean, Ms. Jackson, that when I need to pay for Alex or for Ellie, I can give my check for $100 to the coach, and he turns it into the school. We don't write a check to the coach. We
No, but I
can
just
give the
wanted-
payment to them.
Okay.
That's what I took that as. If someone wants to.
That's correct.
Any other questions? I don't have anybody here from Collins to talk about we want to make sure that if some child wants to play in the band, he can get it done. I know when I was on the Family Resource at Heritage, a few times we had some children that wanted it. It's amazing how many, when you put the word out, you can find a parent that will come and bring you an instrument that's sitting in the closet that some kid parked it, and give that child an opportunity that he wouldn't have. So, in other words, I don't want any child that wants to play, I want him to have the opportunity. We'll seek it out somehow or another to make that happen. So, I just want that to be out there. But I know Shelby County here before last, they had to go to Washington, and they done some things to make up that extra money but each kid that wanted to go got to go, so that was one of those things. Any other questions?
Mr. Klein, I'd just like to add, I think this is probably still a work in progress. This is where we got to for this year. And I think that Ms. Bartlett has been working really hard on this for a number of months, actually, and made lots of progress. We've had the elementary pretty much in line, and I know she's going to continue to work on this, so we'll probably see even more progress on making things closer to equal, maybe for next summer.
Great. Thank you.
I noted that West Middle had broken down, like the dance team and the various things that they pay, but it still ended up being $350. I couldn't figure out on East if they had one. But at least theirs is detailed as to what each of the students will be paying for.
I got a motion and a second for the other question. All those in favor say yes.
Mr. Phillips, before you vote, I want to make one quick clarification. On this list, West Middle Cheer is still at $575, and Ms. Stivers agreed that should be in line with East Middle. It needs to be lowered to $300 before you guys make a final vote.
So it is gonna
So
be,
it's going to be $300, not the $575 that's on this list.
Thank you. Everybody heard what Mr. Clark said?
So
That will be changed, I reckon. How do we go about changing that? We
I'd like to
we
withdraw.
don't want to prove it
Ms.
to High
Bartlett
Point.
will.
I'd like to withdraw my motion and make a different motion.
Okay.
If you will denote that.
I'd like to withdraw my motion.
He's going to recheck. Okay, go ahead now.
I'd like to withdraw my motion and make a new motion that we approve the student fees for 2020 and 2021 with the edit of cheerleading at West Middle to be equivalent to the East Middle amount of $300 for participation.
You got that, Kathy?
And I second it.
Any other questions? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, brings us down to 2B. Consider approval of the revised salary schedule.
So moved.
I second it.
It's been moved by Mr. Klein, second by Mrs. Friels. Are there any questions? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries.
I'm
Brings
just
it-
sorry that we couldn't give a raise this year. Because they deserve it after last year. They really deserve it with all of the ups and downs that went with the virus and everything. And I'm just sorry that we couldn't give a raise.
Okay, it brings us down to 2C, consider approval of payments of claims and authorize superintendent to sign necessary documents.
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Klein,
Second.
second by Mrs. Jackson. Any questions? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Brings us down to 2D, consider approval of the monthly financial report for June 2020.
So moved.
Been moved by Mr. Klein,
I second it.
second by Mrs. Friels. Any questions?
I had a couple of questions, but I got with Ms.
Go ahead.
Barkley before the meeting. She explained my question.
Okay,
So we're
thank you, Ms. Marlin. All righty. Any other questions? All those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, brings us down to 2E, consider approval of the revised BG 1 and BG 20-185 for Benson Road property acquisition.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mr.
I
Klein.
second it.
Second by Mrs. Friels. Any questions other than what did that property cost per acre? And how many acres was it?
It was like,
If you don't have it, me and Mr. Coleman was talking about it, and I might have lied to him.
It was 18.48 acres.
Take off
So
2
hold on,
acres,
I'm not calculating.
take over 2 acres from
it's
what I
on
told you.
the acreage is, but no.
23 something? I'm sorry, I should have done this before.
About 24,000
Okay.
with all the expenses related to the purchase. About 24,000 an acre.
Anybody else have any questions on what we're talking about? Okay.
Nope.
All righty.
Need a vote. I made a motion. We have a second.
I
All
second it.
Yeah, all those in favor say yes.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Brings us down to F. Consider approval of the BG 4 for the Heritage Awning Project, BG 19-327.
So moved.
second.
It's been moved and seconded by Andrew and Sonia. Any questions?
Is it up? Where are we in the
It's
process?
up. It looks good.
Good.
Mr. John's not here tonight. We're gonna have to.
Is that the awning that's gonna be in the
Yeah,
back
it's-
too? Where
And
they
and
get all
JJ's
the-
not here. It was a much-needed project.
For a
Brenda
long
and I
time.
knew it was too much, and we had to pull money out of contingency to do that. So,
But this has no change orders.
No, the big G4 is just to close it out.
No, I know, but I'm thinking from the original contract.
they anchored it down real well, and it's around behind the school, so.
You've been promising for years, so we had to go through with it, so you didn't come up missing.
I'm sorry. But there's a sore subject in that whole matter. There was once upon a time, there was a Phillips ball field there that's where that's sitting now, so.
You've been promising before I got here.
Yeah, there you go.
Moving right along.
Okay, all those in favor of the Heritage Awning Project say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Brings us down to the consent agenda items. Does anybody want to pull anything off of that?
I didn't have anything.
Okay.
I didn't.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Okay, it's been moved by Andrew to take and approve the consent agenda as presented.
I
Do I hear a
Second.
Second by Mrs. Friels. Any questions? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So, looks like we got another's in there. Drive on.
Thank you, Mr. Phillips. I have two things in there, thank yous. I wanted to thank our tech department. I failed to do that at the beginning. They hung all of these TVs here so that we can actually have 2 or 3 things going at once. You can still see the agenda, and then if we want to show a video, we can see them. And they're around the room. It'll be a great thing for our professional development that we have in here. We also have a new sound system.
Yeah, I like that.
For putting that all together. And I wanted to thank you, Mr. Phillips, because today at our administrative retreat, Mr. Phillips came to represent the board and tell all of our leaders how much he appreciated them and talk to them about all of the things that you all know they do, and that you're not taking them for granted. And he just did a great job of telling all of our leaders that not only the community supports them, but the board is behind them, and wanted to let you know I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
That's good.
Did you represent as well?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay.
They didn't let me out of my cage too much, so. It's nice to wear blue jeans, though. Don't tell Andrew, though. All right. What do you want to do the rest of the others?
I can, sure.
Yeah.
So we have a district technology plan that you don't need to vote on, just need to acknowledge that you reviewed it, and if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer that. Chad is here if you have any questions about it. If not, we also have our security plan, the annual data security compliance. This is one of those routine things that we do, and again, it's not a voting matter, but just something that you need to be aware of, and we're happy to answer questions about that as well.
So I do have a question on the security. The items that were found to have, there's currently no set process for this. Is that now on a task list or something that we're working to?
Yeah, or these are the plan, or project list, and we're remediating post that. That's just the over the 30,000-foot level, and then everything's being placed on like a point. They're remediated, and if you want updates on that, we'll do that.
Okay. Very good.
And then C, 4C is review of administrative procedure. That is about the evaluation of the superintendent, which needs to be done 30 days after establish how you're going to evaluate the superintendent, 30 days after hire. So what we did is we updated that procedure, which again, you don't need to vote on the procedure, just be aware. And what we did is we aligned it directly with what you're trained on at KSBA. So that procedure is directly from the KSBA training. And then the document that you have there is just a good document for you to use so that you can capture any of the information that you'll use in my evaluation. So you just need to go on record with that and let you know that that administrative procedure has been updated to reflect KSBA training that you all have done.
That's good.
And then the only other thing is we do need to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing pending or proposed litigation for KRS 61.1A.1.1C.
So I hear a motion to do that. It's been moved by Mr. Klein. So I hear second by Mrs. Jackson. All those in favor of going into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?